Hello and welcome to my English 2.6 tutorial. And today we're going to be talking about feasibility reports. This was supposed to be an actual session, but I had to miss yesterday for family reasons. So let me go over this research project feasibility report with you and show you what you need to pay attention to. Number one, this document is available in PDF on Moodle, and you can find over here the due dates. So you have March 27, you have the poster due, and March 29, you have the actual report due. You have to submit two types of work. First of all, you have to submit the individual work for each student under research report individual work on Moodle. And one person per group, should submit the entire report on Moodle as group work. The length of the actual report is between 3,000 and 4,000 words, and it should follow either APA or IEEE guidelines in formatting, style, and documentation. What does that mean? You have to be consistent. So if you use APA to do your in-text citations and references, you have to also use APA for example, if you are abbreviating certain words or margins and everything. So you have to follow the proper formatting style of APA or IEEE, depending on what you're more comfortable doing. So what is this feasibility report? This is the end result of your project of searching for a technical solution to a problem. And as you know, the problem is specific and you were given that problem before. And so you had to find a solution to that problem. So if the problem is the stairs at AB being very difficult to climb up and down, you're going to have to find a solution for this. Now, you're going to have to find two solutions to assess the feasibility of each based on specific criteria that you choose in order to decide on the best solution. So is it price? Is it feasibility? What is it? What is your criteria? You decide on a set of criterion and you come up with your recommendation based on these. The content of the report should be divided into different parts. You can check Chapter 10, Analytical Reports, and see how they're done. You have to pay special attention to design and structure and make sure you have all of these, because if you go to the end of this, you have your rubric and it tells you exactly what you're being tested on. Oops, I have something here. Okay, so each part has a particular grade, so everything should be there. So make sure you have everything in there. You have front matter, and front matter should include the following: a letter of transmittal, which is something that you've done before, a cover and title page, informational abstract, table of contents, a list of illustrations, if applicable. For the list of illustrations, most probably you're going to have illustrations, whether they're graphs, they're photos, whatever they are, you should put them there. Even if you do, or especially if you do, for example, a survey, you have to have the graphs of your results. Your results should be in a graph or in a table, and it's considered as an illustration in a sense. You also have to have the feasibility report, which includes the introduction, methods and methodology, solutions and mechanism, criteria, results and analysis of solutions, conclusion, and recommendation. The introduction should define the subject, purpose, and main point of your work, present two solutions, state the chosen solution or recommendation, explain the importance of subject, background to the problem issue, present scope, overview of the paper, so what will it cover, or the report if you want, and how it'll cover it. Make sure that you have all of these. You're gonna notice some repetition, but it is okay because nobody reads a report in its entirety, so sometimes repetition is necessary. It depends on the person who's reading the report. Each person picks something. Usually CEOs read the letter of transmittal, and then they pass it on to somebody who's going to read, for example, the solutions or the results, etc., etc. Also, you have to have methods and methodologies. How will you conduct the study? The process followed to find solutions. You can't just think of solutions off the top of your head. Primary and secondary research used. Mention the solutions and how will you decide on the most feasible solution. So criteria for assessment of solutions. State the criteria based on which you will assess the solutions. Then you present a paragraph with the solutions and mechanism, a description of each of the two solutions and how it works practically and clearly. How will it be implemented and how will it solve the problem? The criteria, so you're going to have 3. Explain what each one is and use it individually to assess the feasibility of the solutions. So there are so many different criteria, and you can refer to chapter 10 for more ideas. Like for example here, cost, the solution and the second solution. So if you are worried about the cost for solving the problem of the AB stairs, you have to look at the 2 different suggestions and see which one works better. Maybe it might be a bit more costly, but then it'll work better for the long run, or it might save money in the long run. Something might be cheaper now, but costs more money in the long run. So you have to think about these things and assess them. Now, conclusions. So you have to write the advantages and disadvantages of each solution, and then recommend the right choice, or in the light of priorities of the situation. End matter is very important. It includes reference list, glossary, list of abbreviations or symbols, appendices, and index. Sometimes it's just this, and sometimes you add all of the remaining parts. So how do you choose your criteria? Make sure you cover all your bases and not just include expected criteria. So it should fit the requirements of your project, what you need to do in order to solve your problem most effectively. So, for example, how do you do that? You identify your concerns. So, for example, typical concerns of large-scale feasibility study: market issues, technical and organizational requirements, and financial overview. So, example of a small case study would be comparing computers. What criteria do you compare other than price? You have all of these. Other factors you may consider include warranty, support, monitor, sound card, etc. So what you decide to emphasize on depends on you, the users, and the general context. And finally, this is the rubric and the points divided up among the different parts. And they would total 100, but this project is worth 30% of your final grade. I hope this explains the feasibility report for you. And if you have any questions, you may ask them in class, and we'll briefly touch upon this again in class the next time we meet. Thank you for tuning in, and